Last time that I checked, it was 5 chains on my neck. It was no smut on my rep. Last time that I checked, I was selling zones in the set. Make $250,000, no sweat. Last time that I checked. Streets voice out west, legendary self-made progress. Last time that I checked. First you get the money, then respect, then the power and the hoes come next. Last time that I checked. I've been self-made from the dribble. I was been saying I'm a killer. Nah, playing no games.
True.
Switch lanes on you niggas. Nah, I laid down the game for you niggas. Taught you how to charge more than what they pay for you niggas.
True.
On the whole thing for you niggas. Reinvest, double up, then explain for you niggas. It gotta be love. Run the city, it gotta be cuz. Just for the pieces.
Last time that I checked, I'm the #1 podcast in Southwest Florida, man. We got all these new people, man. Y'all better recognize who's #1, man. Come on, man. Hey, man, last time I checked, I'm numero uno. I'm the HNIC, man. Let's go for radio and everybody, man. Last time don't make me come and get my spot. Anyways, man, it's your boy Triple BLACK, aka the #1 stunner, aka the boss, aka 3 black hearses. It's murder. Anyways, man, welcome to No Cupcake Zone Podcast, man. Hey, man, we got a great show for you, man. We got Dante Hutchins. Man, we got a little situation, man. Very unfortunate, man. Maybe I brought him on here to shed some light on it, man. His son got suspended for six weeks on some bull. Straight up bull, man. First of all, my opinions are not his opinions. So anything I say, don't hold that against him, man. Because I'm going to bust some shots at y'all. Whoever made that decision, man, y'all crazy, man. But anyways, before we get started, man, I'm going to holler at my boy Plies, man. And I'm going to ask him if he read the story and see what he think, man. All right, because he got a good opinion, but sometimes he flies off the what's the name? Oh, what was that? I couldn't hear what he was saying. Say that again. What were you mad? What did I say?
Nigga, I'm telling you what to fucking say.
Holy shit, dog. Dog, I was asking you about this little situation, man.
I just left the bank with my mama. She just asked the lady, can she borrow her motherfucking pen? I'm thinking she finna sign something. She gonna scratch in her motherfucking weed with that lady pen and then hand the lady back her pen. I told that lady I ought to hit you in your goddamn...
Bro, what? Anyways, man, we got Dante coming on the show, man. This guy right here, man, I swear to God, every time I try to ask him for something, man, or his opinion, he just flies off the handle over some stuff, man. But anyways, man, we're going to be right back, man. Man, we got Dante Hutchins on the line, man. What's going on, Dante?
Hey, man, what's happening, Jonathan? What's good with you, man?
Man, I'm good, man. I didn't have enough time to write some short jokes, man, because you know what? Hey, man.
I just heard them all anyways.
One question, man.
Okay.
Your average height, is it because you ran your mouth a lot that people got so much fire for you?
No, man, it has nothing to do with that.
Because
I have no idea, man.
every time we mention Dante Hutchins, especially on Big Dream Sports, a short joke come out, man.
Hey, I got a circle of friends that, we live by the rule that ain't no rules to ripping, so they're gonna try to rip me as much as I can rip them. So it's all in fun though, man.
Yeah, man. I seen him going at you a couple weeks ago, man. You fired the first shot, man, but
right. So that's how it usually works. That's how it usually works, man.
Anyway,
I'll say something,
Hey, Dante, man, you know what, man? Shout out to you, man. I know you've been going through a lot of things, man, the last couple of months, man. Last time I saw you on the set, man, you lost your a close family friend, man.
Yeah, family member.
Family member. Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
that was your ace, right? Like he took you under his wing and everything, right?
Yeah, it was my cousin. Yeah, for sure.
Man, in this, what we're going to be talking about happened, and this is a little bit more closer to home because this is your son. Man, how you been coping with this trials and tribulations, man?
Actually, it's like any parent, once your kid actually shows that it's not bothering him, it's almost like you see your kid take a loss in a big game or something, and, it hurts for a second. And as soon as, you see your son kind of get past it and move forward with it, then you feel a little bit better. But, what I'm doing, what me and Tara are doing right now is just your parental diligent duty, not to let this continue to happen to your son or your child, and then you don't want to see it happen to any other children after this. So it's just it's a little bit it's a bigger page that we're turning now, because he now is still participating with his brothers, his teammates. He can't participate with them, within the games, but he's still out there with them, being a part of the team. So I think that's a big thing for him to continue that.
Yeah. A disclaimer. All the opinions of No Cupcake Zone and Triple Black have nothing to do with Dante, because I'm a father and I want all the smoke. I'm busting shots at everybody. You know what I'm saying? I want all the smoke. So if you a crybaby and you start crying, oh, why did he say that? Why did he say that, man? You know what? Get in my line of fire, man. Because I want all the smoke, man. Anyways, hey, for the people who made that decision, you know what?
And you finna suck it?
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. Anyways, man, but I'm just going to say I'm not going back and forth,
I ain't
man.
going back and forth with these niggas.
Hey, but, you know what? I going to bust some shots at some people, with the...
You are fake news.
With the fake news going out there, I'm going to bust some shots. Come on, Dante, man. Let's set the record straight, man. What happened, man?
Okay. All right. So, basically, man, I just want to start off with the full story and how I perceived it and how everything went down. We went down to community school in Naples. There was a big district game. We played community school in the district championship last year. We won. This was our first district game against them, and you always go into Naples or Northport. And I know you're a Naples guy, but you always go into those areas, like I've always said. And you always can expect some home cooking or something that's going to happen that may not always go your way, but that's the competitive nature of Naples. And I don't fault them for any of that. But, you know, I do say that you could tell that the coach of Naples, Kevin Donahue, manipulated some things to where it worked out for him. That's all fun and all cool. But, you know, we get into about the first half, and then you see where community school only has 4 or 5 fouls, and then, you know, Oasis has 20 fouls, you know, and this is in the first half. So we knew what we were going into and what was happening. Then you get into the third quarter, and this is when the incident happened. My son and 2 other very key players had one technical foul from the beginning half, and my son goes and makes a dribble, and I put the clip out. I'm going to keep posting it until the hearing. But the clip shows my son actually dribbling past one of the defenders, and then he gets a quick foul. Right after that foul, 2 seconds later, you can actually count it. You hear another second whistle, and that second whistle is the technical that ultimately suspends my son for what by rule is 1 to 3 games. Then we find out the next day that he was suspended for 6 weeks because the ref wrote a letter saying that my son cursed at him, directly at him. And there are numerous accounts of, you know, a kid saying that, yes, he said what? He didn't curse, meaning the other kid, not my son. We also have numerous accounts from people and also a few letters from people that are writing for this hearing that my son didn't say a word to the ref. And also you can see his body language within the film that it didn't look like you could just see a shocked look, and you don't even see the ref in the film. That's how far away he was from my son. So that's the basis of it. You know, but the biggest problem is what me and you've talked about earlier, Johnson, is the extent of this punishment and the understanding of why this punishment. You know, I understand cursing at a grown up, or I understand that because the reasoning for the 6 weeks is because he cursed at a grown up. Of course, at a referee, and that's a zero tolerance from what FHSAA says. So let's piggyback on that, and I'm going to go right into the Marcus Finger incident.
Hold on, bro. I got 6 weeks, man.
Yeah.
Y'all know y'all
Yeah.
shit.
Hey, man.
For cursing at it, for cursing, yeah.
Come on, man.
You know, you think about it, and I've asked my son, and there's been a couple coaches and people that have like been involved in my son's training and everything, and I've asked him, "Have you ever done this before?" And he said he's never cursed at a grown up, but he's cursed. I mean, but there's a lot of other kids that have cursed on the court. You know, and so not to minimize the problem, because I mean, it's something like, as me as a parent, I've had these conversations with him numerous times. Hey man, calm your attitude down. But that's hearsay, or that doesn't matter when this situation actually evolves where a ref has all the power, and what gives him the power is the people that are his principals, his authorities that are above him, that just make it okay within the email that I received, that I also forwarded to you to read. It's like saying we don't have to do anything because that kid's life doesn't matter. You know, it's like we don't need to investigate this in any seriousness because whoever's paying the money, hint Donahue, or maybe Donahue, or whoever has the dad or the father that's on the advisory board, he's more important than what this kid is. This kid is nothing compared to them. So we don't have to do an investigation. We're on our third appeal right now, Johnson. We went with our first appeal, a big lack of another. Our administration at Oasis High School really wasn't jumping forefront. They're really lackadaisical about it. Like, they don't care. Then we did a parental civil appeal. That got denied right away because from the letter that you saw from the Collier County referees, and then also from their response to us is that we've investigated, we watched the film, we don't need to go any further with it. Which you couldn't have watched the film. If you've watched the film that we've watched, Johnson, there's no way you could watch that film.
I watched it. I was expecting like an outburst if somebody gets slapped or something like.
Right.
I was expecting some smoke, but it was just the.
Yeah, it's confusing. It's confusing for grown-ups to actually say. It's confusing for grown-ups to actually say, "Yeah, we've done our investigation."
Did he laugh at him or something? Was he like this?
Yeah, he didn't even. He didn't. He just had He had from every witness that was there. Taylor's face was like a dumbfounded look, and he looked at his bench. You can see his head turn towards his bench, and with his hands out, like, "What did I do?" Because when the foul first occurred, everybody thought that it was probably on somebody, on the community school team, and you just don't even see body. You don't see any aggressive body language at all.
Was the crowd chanting something like, "When I get old and I can't see, I want to be a referee"?
There was a lot of. If you see the video, you can see that there was a lot of, "Oh no, are you serious?" Like you can hear Chris, one of the other parents down in the bottom. You can hear him say, "Whoa!" Like what is going on? Like it's just it was very shocking, man. It was very disturbing, and I've had parents say how they felt sick to their stomach from grown-ups being able to do that.
Was it like a making America great again moment? Was the ref a Trump supporter or something?
I don't know. I really will be honest with you.
I don't want to take it there, but I'm just confused.
I'm saying we've we know all the principles that are involved, meaning the ref, and then also, like I said, the coach at community school. Like I explained to you before, community schools ran that private school. It's basically a private school district for 3 to 4 years. And I think, that anybody that follows sports, and last year was a year that, they got knocked off their throne. And I don't think Kevin Donahue felt good about that, because a lot of the word is, Oasis is a public school or has public school kids in a private school district, which doesn't make sense, because I think all kids are equal. There's no such thing as a public and a private school kid. And I think but Community School of Naples coach and all the counterparts that were with him made a point to show that. So,
it seemed like there's something going on, like some type of code of silence or something, because this doesn't make any sense to me, man. Hold on, let me ask somebody about this, man.
If you my motherfucking home, and I call your phone with a motherfucking female on the other line, and the first thing I say is, "Call, tell this crazy motherfucker I stayed at your house last night."
Hey, oh shit! I just had Plies on the other line, and he called me and asked him, and he was like talking about some shit. I don't even know, man. But anyways, man. Hey, Plies, again, are you still on there?
Don't ask me about eating motherfucking things.
Okay, man. God damn, man. This nigga tripping. I was trying to get his advice. I always call Plies for his advice. Next thing I'm going to call Cardi B and ask her.
Man. Yeah, because it's, I will say, I will say, man, we're pushing it to the next level, and where we want some kind of understanding. It's not even the understanding that, oh, my kid didn't do anything wrong. It's more of the understanding of why is this penalty sticking, and why is it so harsh in the understanding that everybody in all these kids, you go to middle school right now, and they're cursing, and there's nobody putting down a law or saying, hey, you better not curse in the hallways. I remember we couldn't even, when I was in school, we couldn't even run in the hallways, let alone speak foul language.
It's context. I could see in the video, if I would have saw your son was like, throw up a middle finger or a cutthroat or
even just like violently move forward, and it was a physical look, and it's not assumption. You're looking at him. The assumption comes from this ref that just says, "Oh, he said this," and I saw him say this to me, and I heard him say this to me. But there are 3 people that are writing letters right now that were in the same look.
Is it that you just don't want to see him in the playoffs, man? Is that what it is?
I think that is the cowardly part of community schools coach, because I think that he knew that was his way of getting upper hand because of the reputation of my son's team. They're known for being brash, a little cocky, talk a little trash. And that's some things that we have talked about as parents to Talon personally, and also the coach that, inevitably he's fired. Mm-hmm. They fired the coach because of, I guess, the program is out of control, which is ridiculous. Yeah. So it's one of those things where I believe that Coach Donahue at community school, he pulled his hand. He used whatever he had to get the upper hand. I've heard other coaches and other people in cahoots with my son's training. I've heard them say, yeah, you need to talk to, I've heard the refs talk to them, man. They're a little too brash. But you never see a game in Lee County where, like, even we played against Riverdale, you don't see anybody trying to, tip the scale of the refs or make sure the refs are making sure they keep them under bay because of their language. They just let them play the game.
Yeah, let me play devil's advocate, because Oasis does have the reputation, I guess, the perception of being the school that is robbing all the public schools of talent in football and basketball and kind of running the table in sports. Do you think that perception has a lot to do with the treatment that your son is getting?
No, I will completely say no, because if you look, when we play against public schools,
shots.
How you doing? Oh, when we play against public schools, what happens with the public schools, what happens with the public schools are we don't go and dominate it. We weren't that great in football, and we weren't that great in basketball. We were good in basketball in the district.
Like, that football team is what North Fort Myers should have been. The basketball team should have been Mariner, there's just a perception out there. It's like you guys doing a lot of recruiting, and that's just what I've heard.
Well, hey, to be honest with that, I don't see that would be most of the problem. Like, school coaches move. Coaches leave, and I think that the biggest thing is some of these players, it's sad to say, because I knew that I was lucky enough to play high school ball with one high school coach. And it's sad to say that I don't I don't disagree with a kid saying, hey, my coach is going here, and I'm able to make that choice because of school choice now. I'm able to make that choice, and I'm going to go to this school. That is not in a sense of recruiting to me. It's like where I feel comfortable and where this coach can get me into the school, or he has a connection that helps me. So I don't think that has a lot to do with it, because in Taylor's sense, and all of these kids that play on his team on the basketball level, and this is why they're so good and they gel together, all these kids have played together since 8th grade. So, I mean, and this has been at Oasis. You know what I mean? So they've been 8th grade at Oasis. So I don't think that has an issue. I don't think that has a lot to do with it, because even if you look at the football team this year, had a good little spurt. The depth hurt the team because they don't have a lot of depth, and they couldn't beat a Lehigh or a Cape, or I don't even think they could beat a Mariner this year at their best. So I mean, I don't think that has a lot to do with it. I think it's more of I'm just going to pinpoint on Donahue and some of the power, which a lot of people now throw it into. Oh well, you're just saying that, but you got to look at you got to look at what's happening. The FHSAA, the number 5 that plays for Kevin Donahue, his dad is on the advisory committee as well.
Okay.
So it's just kind of funny that you got somebody that's involved with this, and you can have your official tag a FHSAA guy to make sure he knows what's going on, just so they can keep that harsh penalty going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
it definitely sounds like, how like when you have a situation with the cops, and the cops did something wrong, but the DEA, which probably is a former cop, and, they're an elected official, and they have the police union basically runs them.
Right.
They pretty much have to follow suit. You know what?
Yeah.
I probably should charge this cop, but because the police union, my boss and all that, is heavily influenced by this union or this group, I can't.
Yeah.
So I have to, just follow suit. Does it? It almost sounds like that.
And Johnson, I will say this because it's all about solutions when you come down to these things. And my whole point and purpose, is not only for the best outcome for my child, but it's for the children that come down the line, because right now you're looking at a situation where all the referee had to do was say, yes, he did that. That's whatever oath they have written. He doesn't have to be questioned anymore. I feel like if it's this serious, this is 6 weeks. This is a half of a basketball season that my son is not playing anymore, because, and you don't know what else is in the works for him. This could hurt him in recruitment. You don't know what else mentally this could do for a kid. He's still a 17-year-old boy. So someone can tell this kid, regardless of how he plays and what his brashness is, you can't sit there and say, okay, well, we're going to go and just pay attention to what this ref and how he's refereeing. You're not going to send an official down here, because I know in football, if this was to happen, FHSAA will have somebody down here watching this ref. But in basketball, it doesn't happen that way. They just took his word, and now we're dealing with 4 weeks now of getting an attorney, having to go to a hearing, which they basically told us before the hearing that it's only going to be a 10-minute hearing. So we're going to Bradenton, Florida for a 10-minute hearing for them to basically only read letters, if they even do that, and meet my son in person and basically ask him, did he say it or not? And he says, no, he didn't. And then who are they still? Are they still going to believe the ref?
Wow.
Yeah. It's just that sad. That's how sad. It's like, it's not for the child. But I want to make one more point because I'm on a little short time right now, Johnson. I just want to make one more point, and I want to bring this up because I want to bring it up a lot more as this hearing gets closer. There was an incident in football, a violent incident, where another kid punched a kid, got 6 weeks initially. They went and appealed it. His appeal did not get denied. He gets it gets reduced to 1 week. Now, this kid's name is Marcus Finger. He's going to be attending some Division I college. He was committed to UCF. But this is what happened. Now, another incident comes in basketball, a more personalized game, one-on-one game, and the kid supposedly said, which he did not say, but he said, on the film now, we've got to take on mind, in this Marcus Finger film, it shows him punching the kid. But since the ref said he punched him in the thigh, not in the groin, that's okay. Okay, let's just reduce it to 1 week. So punching a kid is very light compared to a kid presumably saying the MF word in the direction of a ref. So there's no rehabilitation or mentoring to say, hey, this is why we punished you for such and such weeks. So you don't have an explanation to that, but you have an explanation that, because he punched the kid in the thigh, it's better. It's a better situation.
Hey, Dante, this is a disclaimer for Dante. This is not Dante's opinion, but I'm about to fire some shots at your administration. Because I have a feeling if your son was getting recruited by Alabama or USC or Clemson, they would be a little more eager to defend your son, but it doesn't sound like it. You're getting a lot of support from administration. I just fired shots for you. I don't have a problem with that because I'm going to help you fire shots because from day one, since my son has been played, since the athletic director Frank Haba, since he got there, it has been one of those. No, I don't like your son senses, and I don't like the basketball team. This is the same administration that suspended kids for being late to school, but there's been numerous times on the football field where things were done, but they were never suspension. There was an ejection in a Marco Island game. And this has nothing to do because I love the coaching staff there. I really like the guys there, the football coaching staff. I grew up with one of them. So it has nothing to do with them. I really think the administration was really the forefront to this and playing the puppeteer in this. But my son didn't even play in the game, and then they refused to change because number 2 got ejected. And they refused to change the roster or whatever. And then my son ended up, they say, Taylor got ejected in the game. Taylor didn't even play that game. Taylor was injured for 3 games out of the season. And after that, it's just a continuous with this new athletic director. So now all of this stuff, you can see there hasn't been any help. We put an appeal in the morning. The coach actually wrote the appeal out. If it would have been sent before 12 o'clock, my son would have had a better chance of at least playing out until they do a full investigation. The principal and the athletic director took their time, didn't do it. So now we're at the point we're at now. And it's very sad. But, my point of emphasis with that about the administration is just that, we'll deal with that. It's a process. And we'll deal with that as the process depends on what happens with the hearing, and that's where we're at right now. But yeah, you're absolutely correct, Johnson. I thought you put your kids in private school so they're just not a number. They get that specialized attention. They get those advocates, but I guess that's not the case in this situation.
It's not at charter school. It's not at Oasis. I've had some people ask me about sending their kids to play sports at Oasis. Football program, I think that's kind of the road they're moving into. But just anything else there. My son has a great grade point average is a 3.3 unweighted, 4.0, 4.1 weighted. So there's nothing unintelligent about the situation, like about my son. So, a lot of people, I had a guy ask me when I was talking to just a guy that I work with in the restaurant was like, well, sometimes the kids that don't do well in school, I had to stop him. I was like, hey, listen, the son does very well in school. He's going to get his ACE diploma at the end of the year. He's a couple points off of being qualified to go to a Brown or Ivy League school. So it's one of the things that going to a private school, you would think smaller classrooms, but the private school kids we've grown up as kids, private school kids could just be just as tough to handle as a public school kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
man, when I had a conversation with you earlier, and you made it a point to say this is not the case. You don't believe in your heart of hearts this is the case. Would I be wrong? I mean, tell me, why would I be wrong if I pull the race card, so-called race card on this one? Because on the outside looking in, it smells a little fishy to me, man. I'm just taking shots.
You know why? Because I don't think in the sense of just pure race, like, because here's the main reason. Because as throughout this whole, my son's beginning of the summer and everything, I knew that he had a target on his back just coming from outside sources. And those are people that I have, confidentially, I have understanding with, and I know that they mean well for telling me these things so we can kind of try to fix them. But I know my son had targets on his back, and the team had targets on his back. But it looks like just from this, he had a bigger target on his back because of, it's like this, and this is not father talk. This is not me being a dad. This is, you can add, I mean, if anybody watches this podcast or even just watches my son or been to the games, they see that my son is a difference maker on that team. So it's like having, and I'm just doing comparison to my son, but it's like having a kid like Herschel Troutman. I remember I would just give you a familiarity. So I remember Herschel Troutman, my sophomore year, he missed like 4 games. Yeah. Somebody said he was in jail. Somebody said he just really was hurt. Whatever. Who cares? But the point is, those 4 games, Baron Carter almost lost their first game they had played. They went down to somewhere and almost lost. And then he came back a week before us and played in Key West, and they beat Key West by like 400 damn points. And then they played us the next week. My son's like Herschel Troutman on this team. They'll win some games, but they won't win the district. Or they may have a good chance of winning the district, but it'll be a lot tougher road for them to win the district. Now, my son's the type of kid, last year we played against Tampa Berkeley Prep, who has 3 kids going Division I. My son by himself, and him and the play of other kids on the team, beat that Tampa Berkeley Prep team. So he's just that difference maker that I feel like it was more of for Coach Donahue, because a lot of coaches said, oh, yeah, well, man, you got to talk to your son, man. He's a little rough around the edges how he plays, and some college coaches like that. They like, because they know when he gets to college, he's going to deal with that. So, yeah, people are going to talk trash to him. People are going to try to get in his head. And he has to learn that he does it, and sometimes he does it in a harsher way, so he has to tone that down. But I think the target on his back was more because of he was a difference maker on this team. then it became oh, he's a black kid. We don't like when black kids do this, because you got to look at a lot of teams around here got kids that got a little spunk to them. But I'm telling you, it's in this district behind. It's all, I think it's congrued from community school coach, knowing that that's the way he was going to get the edge for his team to get an opportunity to play and to win their district. And the problem with that is, if you look at it, every time community school has played us without Talon, from that game to then till now, they beat Oasis by 30 points. There's no way that community school team is better than Oasis 30 points with Talon on the court. That's just it's just common sense. So race, I do not point the race finger at this sense. I think it's more of a coach being manipulative into whatever powers that he may have, and referees using that to be irresponsible. And then the higher ups that come along with that, FHSAA, the Collier County referees, Carl DeForio, those guys are actually letting it be because that's their power trip, and not doing something about it more. If it's about the kids, if this is Florida High School Athletic Association, if it's supposed to be about bettering the kids, this ain't teaching a lesson. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, man.
And now, and the kid has had some harsh things happen to him through the administration of Oasis before. LaBelle Game, one of my close friends is the athletic director at LaBelle now, and we talked about this incident. He wasn't at the time, but 2 years ago, my son missed a part of the game because as sophomores, they went into the locker room and were banging on the lockers, and we got the same thing, the administration, and that's when we should have been prompt then to take my son and move him to another school, but we didn't because of the coach and other things that also were involved in that. But that's here nor there. Now this one right here is just we're done with it. We got an attorney, and we're gonna push it on all levels. Coming from podcasts with you, news, press, articles, voices in the community, and whatever else we can do.
Yeah, man. But man, I know you're busy right now, man, and thank you so much for coming on the show, man, and chopping it up with me, man.
For sure, man. I gotta get out of here, man. But I appreciate you having me on the show, man, and whenever else we can get and talk about some good football, and just want to let y'all know that Tom Brady is the GOAT. We'll just throw it out there. All right, the real GOAT, man.
Come on, man. Let's keep it real, man. The Saints are the world champs. There's no way. Anyways, man, that's another subject, man.
That is. All right, hey Johnson, man. Thank you, man. I got to get back and get ready to get to work, my man. So I appreciate you having me on, and hopefully, man, we can come to a better solution come Thursday. So. All
right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, man.
Anyways, man, that was Dante, man. Make sure you guys go to my YouTube page and subscribe. Also, go to my Facebook. Look up No Cupcake Zone Podcast. Shout out to Big Dream Sports, man. Andrew Layton, man. Make sure you guys subscribe to their YouTube page. Also, follow them on YouTube, Facebook. Man, I got so many plugs, man. I'm on Twitter, but main thing, man, go to YouTube and check me out, man. But anyways, I hope Dante, his situation works out, man, because I just felt, man, that's a little egregious, man. But anyways, man, I got to bust a couple shots at the Florida High School Association of Sports, or whatever they call their name, man. But I got to ask one more person, man. Cardi, man, what do you think about this whole situation?
Respectful, but you want to know something? They should have known better.
I think so, man. They should have known better, man. That's crazy. It's crazy, but anyways, man, holla at your boy, man. I'm coming through again next week, man. Make sure you guys check out my back catalog. But let's ride out. What we gonna ride out to, man? Let's ride out the song, man.